All right, time for a weekly outlook. It's a little late, but here it is. Um, well, I think last week or the trend from 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago is still the same, as in ES continues to outperform, or actually NQ just underperforming relative to ES RTYYM. Right. I mean, it's mostly been because of tech. Right. We have last week was more so like chips, but right, Nvidia not doing the best, AMD not doing too well, Microsoft trading sideways, Google not doing the best. Apple surprisingly at all-time highs though, again. But thank you. We continue to smack off of this prior balance, right? We broke out of this, which looked good, right? Built value above. But on the break, right, we slammed into what we had expected to see some sellers step in and, right, kind of just trading between these two for now. For now, right? I mean, it could change with Nvidia coming down to a key pivot this week, or rather on what was it, Wednesday? It came down to a very, very key pivot. Um, so let me see. Yeah, it came down to that last little pivot low VWAP, and bounced off pretty darn clean. So hopefully they can get this thing going and maybe help Q's out. But till that happens or till NQ can get over some of these levels I'm about to talk about, I continue to take NQ level to level, and ES is the one I prefer to play, right? So on ES, right, broke out of this most recent 3 day balance. This was Thanksgiving week. Prior all-time high, our Globex all-time high was at like 53, so we made a new all-time high on that half session Friday. Um, Currently Globex trading back down to it. So 35.45 is sort of like the first big pivot I'm watching. I would, as a permable, I'd love to see that hold and just make it an easy week for me. I doubt that's going to be the case, only because why would they make it that freaking easy? Um, but we'll see what happens, right? Excess of this current little balancer, I guess you could call it excess, or close to, right? Sort of where volume starts kicking in again, value area high. Right, really not much below that I'm like paying too much attention to until '09. Yes, there's a high volume node there, but this really comes from just Wednesday's close, so I don't put too much weight on this. All right, if we just split this profile here, why is it not letting me split it? There we go. Oh, right. Essentially, all comes from like the last minute, really, on Wednesday. So don't know how much that's gonna affect it, but I prefer watching '09 instead. And even '09, like, is it really that important? No. Right? This is your balance. This is your prior balance. This was your little bit of value we built back here. So if we're trading below 35, I expect us to slowly trade down to this. Um, Buyers aren't really going to be in trouble unless we start trading below this, though, right? 90 and then 70 is where I think becomes a little bit of trouble for buyers. And then like the dips below that become a little problematic with this weak lows down here, and even some weak lows down here, right? A couple hundred handles lower. But right, just take it level to level for now. Easiest trade, at least the one I'm watching and looking for, is just a bid off at 35 or reclaim a 35.45 to just get long and stay long and just target these extensions up here, right? So I mean, in terms of like deviation away from VWAP, I'm sure we're a far, far away from it. Um, if we just put on like a year to date VWAP, I'm sure we are very, very far away from it. Right now, I don't have VWAP on. Okay, I'll put it on later. But anyway, I'm thinking we're sort of probably at like the double or this 2 standard deviation mark, if I had to guess. 2.5, maybe even. So kind of stretching it in that regard. We typically don't see the index trade too far away from it. Let me turn on the let's see, 1, 2. Right, if we do 3, I don't think we ever trade above 2.5. Maybe we do. Yeah, we don't. So we're kind of riding that second standard deviation on ES. Right, pretty common place to see rejections. I don't want to say rejections, but you know, it's sloping higher. So yeah, we'll keep trailing higher if it decides to follow. But um, still got a little bit of room, and there are periods where we do trade a little higher above it. Right, obviously this was a roll gap, and so not too many times without a roll gap that we actually like stay above the 2 standard deviation. Yeah, a couple times here, a couple sessions here, but immediately fall back down, right? So not a place to really push it. Approaching end of year, um, we did well this year. I don't know if we really want to be pushing it and like really forcing trades on pullbacks down here. So I mean we yeah, I'm just at this point of the year I'm not looking for any huge trades, at least to the upside. NQ, right? If we can get over these levels, 21,000 and 2155, I think I can make the case for all-time highs, right? Barring a huge rejection off of this. But I'm thinking we start accepting back into this, and I think we can go make new all-time highs on that, right? If we're going to be trading above this, I think something is going to be leading enough to, right? Hopefully chips to sort of just take us up. So, right, key levels I'm watching just this and this, really just the excess of these last couple sessions up here, right? Sort of right where we expected it to, down here at these lows, and then sort of a shelf down there at 21,055. In terms of like downside, are there really any huge pivots that I'm looking for? There's like one right below us, the most recent little one, right? We saw a couple inflection points here, with this being one, this being one, this being one, this being one, right? So pretty key inflection point. The levels lower have become a little weak, I want to say, in that I've played the long off these levels so many times that I'm a little worried of playing them again, especially maybe 640, that point of control of this composite here. Right, I was kind of hoping we'd trade it when we got this pullback on Wednesday. I was kind of forced to mark it in 680s because we didn't trade 660s for my first bids were. So 630s, 660s, maybe I put something on or look to put something on, but I'm not playing anything with size at least this week. Unless we really fall significantly, then maybe something forces my hand. But at least this week, I'm just not prepared to really like throw on any kind of size below. Yeah, I'll still trade intraday, but it'll if we're below 890, 860, it's gonna be some light size stuff for me that I probably even choose to close out end of day. So yes, downside. I know you guys play downside. Sure, go ahead, play it. I'll keep putting out the daily Alex and whatnot, but I'm only looking to play the upside. And yeah, as I said, I'm just not gonna push it into end of the year. So I'm just gonna stay like that. There's one play on RTY I'm looking for. It's just a pullback into 2404 to 2413. I'll probably just scale into a long there. That's like I've been waiting that. I was waiting for it this week or last week. It didn't quite happen, so I'm still waiting for it. And if you've been with me long enough, you know that I only really trade RTY once or twice a month, and there's really one setup that I look for, right? And if that setup doesn't happen, I just won't touch it. So, I mean, if we're gonna be trading back above 2450s, I think it looks great to keep pushing, right? Your just most recent excess up here. These last two sessions up here, and then you have prior all-time high there. So, yeah, above this, I think we won't be seeing this for a little bit, and I think we just keep grinding higher. And just a small high volume node up here, I guess, if we're if you guys are looking to trade it Monday or Sunday, whatever it may be. I'm not gonna really look for it. Right? I mean, great if we can trade below it and slowly trickle down to here, where I sort of expect buyers to come in. You got a small set of singles there. This prior high volume node there. Below, I'm not getting involved. RTY is just not going to be something I like to trade if we're going to be below this. So not too much I'm looking for this week. I continue to play it day to day. Everything's just going to be on here. No equities for this week, only because I really could not find anything that I loved. Right, just throw it on there. At least everything I just talked about. I won't have an equities things like I did last week. It'll just be the same, at least the ones I didn't fill. GSL I still like if we keep dipping down into this target area. AEHR, I got the fill at 11.8. I didn't get filled there yet. So that's still good to close. So not filled completely on that. This one actually traded up to it on Friday. I just was not going to trade Friday. I was just closing out trades on Friday. So we'll see what happens to it Monday. AOI got a pop up into 40. Actually went to like 43. Kind of into the first short area. So I might look to put on some puts come Monday, depending on what we do up against it, or depending on what we do up against Friday's close. And Phase kind of left without me. So this one's off the thing now, at least off my radar. ASML we got in last week. It dipped down to this dip area, actually dipped a little lower than I really liked. Right, I wanted to dip by 70, yeah, 670. Dipped a little lower, closed up towards 670s. I had my stop down at this most recent low. We also grabbed some calls on this day, and we trimmed some of those at 100% on Friday. So those did well. I'm still holding the majority of those. Hopefully, chips can do well this week, right? Especially with Nvidia coming off this first little anchored VWAP. I know it might seem like I have too many, but some really, really important ones. I think this one, right, is the most recent big pivot low that we bounced off of. This one's not too much lower, all-time high one. So this one's like the first big one, right? And for this week, I'm really watching, like, the most bullish response would be to just hold 138 and just establish value above this, right? 138, 130, yeah, 137s. So if we could hold that, great. If not, likely trades down in the shelf at 35, closes the gap. And can it bid there? Yes. I wouldn't be too hopeful. I would just just look for it here at 137.5, and if it doesn't hold that, right, it starts to look a little rough if we start spending some time below this. So I would like to see this hold. If it doesn't, it might be a little signal to be for more continued sideways action or even potential downside in NQ and tech. Not saying we're going to go completely straight down. I mean, Apple's still doing this. So if Apple's going up and chips are coming down, like, this is what NQ is going to do, right? So hopefully that changes this week. Until it does, though, I'm not going to really change that bias of, I'm not saying it's bearish. I can't be bullish in that. I can't be long here like I have been all the last 2 weeks and shoot for all-time highs, right? I was never in that camp. I was always, at least on NQ, if we're going to get long somewhere on some good-looking dips, just take it level to level. So that's what we've done. On ES, yeah, we've let it ride all the longs, right? Because it looked much, much better after these 2 sessions here. Right, once you trade it back into here, and especially this, and you get the dip back on these sessions, right? It looks really, really great to long to new all-time highs. But NQ, like, we just cannot accept back into this. It's a big issue. So until we can do that, just I keep taking NQ level to level, whatever it may be, opening range, IB, whatever, and then these levels above us, really. So until we can switch that around and sort of prove me wrong at this point, there's like really like one place I want to dip by NQ a day, and if it's not gonna bid that, then I just give up. Okay. So it keeps me out of trouble. It should keep a lot of you guys out of trouble if you sort of like, well, at least it helps me stay out of trouble only because I play one side primarily. And on trend days down, like if you have that mentality of, okay, if that one level does not hold, like be very, very cautious, right? Don't continue buying the dip. Like on NQ, I gave it one attempt on this Wednesday when we sold off. Gave it one attempt at like 860. We trimmed, stopped out the rest break even. And then I said below, like, yeah, we're gonna trade these 660s, right? I was gonna wait with my bid 660s. Didn't trade exactly to my bid, so I was kind of forced to buy 680s and then swing long 770s. This pullback during last like 10 minutes of the day, but got us into a really nice long that I closed out all of after Thanksgiving. So closed out of those, really not holding anything except for some 10-year treasure notes. Still long those, so we'll see what happens to those. But anyway, that's the weekly outlook. Take it slow, light size for me. Unless you guys can, of course, just stay above these pivots.